GGN IMT. Welcome, please. Today, we'll be talking about sample size determination because this is one of the topics which is very uh, important because whenever you are presenting your thesis or you are submitting your paper and all that, the determination of sample size is one of the important most questions. So we must understand how the sample size can be determined. Myself, Dr. Harpreet Singh. I am from GGN IMT, Ludhiana. So first of all, let's understand what is a sample. We all know sample is a proportion or a percentage of total population. When population size is very large, it's not possible to count on the population entirely. So we go for a sample. Sample means a part of the population. So data from a sample is used to draw conclusions about the given population. For example, standard deviation of a sample can be used to approximate standard deviation of a population. In a nutshell, the sample must be representative of the entire population. Whatever qualities of a sample are, they must match the qualities of the population. But in sample, the major problem is the uncertainty. This uncertainty is also called sampling error. When we take a small portion of sample size, we are not 100% sure if the sample statistics will represent the population parameters or not. Whatever attributes are there in a sample, they are called sample statistics, and whatever attributes of the population are there, they are called population parameters. So sample statistics must be matching the population parameters, but it's not possible that it will be 100% always like this one. So this is called uncertainty, or this is also called sampling error. And sampling error is measured in the terms of confidence interval. Confidence interval, for example, 90%, 95%, 99%, and so on. Confidence interval means if survey is repeated over and over, 90% time the results will be same if the confidence level is considered to be 90%. It means the margin of error is 10%. So there are different methods to determine the sample size, but if the population is very small, you have constraints for budget and time, the high accuracy is required, then the sampling method is not the right method. In fact, the census method. Census method means counting each and every item or respondent of the entire population. That is called a census approach. This is possible only if the population is well known and population is approachable, accessible it is. Otherwise also, if population is not very small but population is countable limit, then it is done, especially when high accuracy is required. For example, whenever the production is done in any company, all the items must be individually checked for its quality. So that is called the census approach. The another method of sample size determination is the sample size from a similar study. For this you need access to database and use if less time available. Otherwise please do not use it. The biggest pitfall is whatever mistakes have been committed by others, you will be owning them for yourselves. Means if the other researcher committed any mistake while determining the sample size with respect to a population, you will be committing the same mistake. One. Secondly, suppose the population for that researcher may not be exactly the same way as population is for you. For example, suppose if anyone has taken a sample size for a population of university students in America, and then sample size in America for a population of American universities will be entirely different than that in India. So using a similar sample size as given in the similar studies is not very advisable, but if time is very lesser available and you have got the access to authentic databases and you know that your population is almost the same way as the population for that kind of study, then this can be done also. Reference is must in this case. Another method which is being used by some researchers is the using of the standard table. You need access to databases and also use it if time available is lesser. Again, the pitfall is that the mistakes of others get transferred to your study. Such standard tables are available in some publications also on internet, and these standard tables are calculated by some researchers and they are made available for the use of other subsequent researches. Many researchers have made the sample size calculation formulas and they have devised the calculators for this one, and these calculators are available online also. So whenever you fill up your parameters of population and the sample size is calculated automatically by these calculators, so these calculators can also be used. Again, the caution here is if you know the authenticity of the publishing of this kind of sample size calculator, if you can trust the authenticity, please go ahead, though it is not very advisable method as well, because it has its own problems in this one. The problems are quite obvious. So the most reliable method for sample size determination is using a formula. There are many formulae available for sample size determination statistically. They are done basically based on the statistical errors. But the most commonly used method is the Cochrane's formula. I'm thankful to the studies which I have gone through to understand the Cochrane's formula. So out of those studies, whatever uh, simple understanding I could develop for myself, I'll be sharing that Cochrane's formula, sharing with you all. So Cochrane's formula, there are two cases. One, the population is very large. The second case is population is very large but not very large. So we'll be discussing these two cases. Now we'll be taking when the population is very large. Cochrane's formula is based on certain things like what is the level of precision required, means the accuracy required, means margin of error. Then desired confidence level. Desired confidence level means what's the permissible error in this case. The another part is the estimated proportion of attribute present in the population. For example, when we understand, for example, suppose we are going to study the students studying in +2 in all schools of Punjab state. So we feel that almost 60% are the girls. So the estimated proportion of girls in a population we can count as 60%. It means not girls are 40%. So the Cochrane formula is n naught is equal to z square pq divided by e square. Z square pq divided by e square. Now what is e? E in this formula is the desired level of precision, that is the margin of error. For example, if confidence level is 95% decided, it means the margin of error is 5%, which is 0.05. So E is in this case 0.05. Z is the Z value from the table at given confidence level. For example, at 95% confidence level, Z is 1.96. We can see it from the standard Z tables. P is the estimated proportion of population having given attribute. For example, I said say girls are 60%. Similarly, rural areas, right? So the population percentage in rural areas in Punjab, say it is 65%. So P in this case will be 0.65. If you can have the access to the authentic published data, say census report by the government or by the universities or anything like this one, we can take that correct figure as P. If P is not available as such and there is no other way to estimate the proportion of P, we assume that P is 50%. That is, P is equal to 0.5. So Q will be 1 minus P. So if P is 0.5, Q is also 0.5. If P is 0.65, Q is 0.35 and so on. So we'll take an example here. Suppose we want to study how many rural area residents watch a particular TV program in a big city. I'm referring to the word here big. Big means the population is very large. So we are given that the confidence level is 95%. Z value at 95% is, we all know, 1.96. E is 5% because it is 95% confidence level. So E will be 5%. So 5% means 0.05. P is 65% rural population, so it is 0.65. Q is 1 minus 0.65 means 0.35. So we have the value of Z also, E also, P also and Q also. So we can calculate the sample size N naught. So Z square into P into Q divided by E square. So this comes out to be 261.4, which can be approximated to 2 to 75, and for easy calculation purpose we can go for 300 also. So approximation to near 100 will be easier for further calculations. So we can assume it to be 300 also. The another part is that when the population size is very large but not very large. Suppose there are 10,000 rural households in one area. So this population is very large that we cannot go for a census approach in this case. Right, so we'll have to take a sample, but adjustment to the Cochrane's formula can be done here in this case. For example, N will be N naught divided by 1 plus N naught minus 1 divided by N. N is the as number of rural households, or say the approximate size of the population sample. So we'll calculate once again. 261 N naught, we calculated it to be 261. So 261 divided by 1 plus 261 minus 1 divided by 10,000. So it comes out to be approximately 255. So the sample size can be considered 250 here as rounding off, or we can go for 300 even, because larger the sample size, we assume that the representation of the total population will be more. So in that case, the approximation can be, the adjustment can be done on the higher side also. This is how the sample size is determined using the Cochrane's formula. So I extend my due thanks to all those authors whose literature I studied for explanation here. Thank you very much for all those people who wrote beautifully, and I could understand the sample size determination after going through so many studies by them. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, please.